Hello my friends, welcome to English Simplified, and before we begin, let me ask you something very simple, very honest, and maybe a little uncomfortable, but important to say out loud. Do you start learning English with good intentions, with motivation, with videos saved and plans in your head, and then after 3 days, sometimes 5, sometimes a week, you slowly stop, not because you don't care, not because you are incapable, but because something inside you feels heavy, tired, overwhelmed. And you tell yourself you will come back later? If this sounds like you, stay with me, because the real problem is not your level, it is not your intelligence, it is not your memory, and it is not your accent. The real problem is that the way you are trying to learn cannot survive real life. Today, I want to show you a different way, a softer way, a calmer way, a way that does not rely on motivation, pressure, or discipline that hurts, but on one tiny habit, almost invisible, that creates consistency naturally, even on busy days, even on low days. My name is Alex, and here on English Simplified, we do not chase speed, we do not chase perfection, and we do not compare ourselves to anyone else, because fluency is not about talking fast. Fluency is about feeling comfortable when you speak, and that is why we say it clearly here. Fluency equals comfort, not speed. So take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, stay with me, and at the end of this episode, you will have a clear 10-minute routine, a simple way to make it automatic, and a gentle 7-day challenge that can change your English quietly, without stress, but for real. Imagine a very large, heavy door in front of you, a door that looks impossible to move, and the first day, you push it hard once, nothing happens. The second day, you push it hard again, nothing happens, and slowly a thought appears in your mind, quiet but dangerous, maybe this is not for me. But now imagine something different. Imagine that instead of pushing hard, you push gently, every day, at the same place, at the same moment, with the same small pressure, not stronger, not faster, just repeated, and one day, without noise, without drama, the door opens. Not because you suddenly became powerful, but because repetition did its work. Learning English works exactly the same way, because it is not a moment of motivation that changes your level. It is repeated contact, calm contact, honest contact, that returns again and again until your brain stops resisting and starts cooperating. Your brain loves simple things, it feels safe with what is clear, and it feels threatened by what is big, vague, or demanding. So when you say, I will study English for 2 hours, your brain does not hear ambition, it hears effort, danger, and pain, and its natural reaction is to protect you, to distract you, to offer something easier. Then you feel guilty. You promise yourself you will restart tomorrow, you restart, you stop again, and slowly you associate English with pressure instead of progress. English Simplified works the opposite way, because here we start with something very small, almost too small, but possible even on the days when you are tired, busy, or discouraged. Say this quietly, even if you are alone. I can start small, and when you say it, you are not making a promise. You are opening a door, because that sentence tells your brain this is not a fight, this is a path. Take a very concrete example from your daily life. You want to improve your listening, and instead of searching for the best method, the best playlist, the best course, you choose one short audio, one voice, one format, and you stay with it for 1 week, not to punish yourself, but to give your brain a stable ground. Every day, you return to the same place, and little by little, your ear becomes more precise, your stress becomes lower, and the language starts to feel familiar, not because the content is magic, but because repetition creates safety. The magic is not in the audio. The magic is in the return. At the beginning, nothing seems to change, and that is exactly why many people quit too early, because real progress works in silence, and silence is easy to misunderstand as failure. That is why here we use one simple rule. The honest minimum, an action so small that you can do it even on difficult days. but real enough to count, like opening the audio and listening for 30 seconds, repeating one sentence clearly, writing one single line, and closing your notebook calmly. On easy days, you will naturally do more, and on hard days, you will protect the anchor. And because you do not stop, your brain continues to believe in the person you are becoming. Many people say they want to speak English, but in reality, they behave like someone who is trying, not like someone who is practicing, and that small difference changes everything. When you say, "I must learn English," you carry something heavy on your back, but when you say, "I am a person who practices a little every day," you change direction, and direction is more important than force. Identity is not a slogan, it is not positive thinking. It is the sum of very small proofs repeated over time, because every micro-action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. If someone invites you to skip your practice, you can say, "I should practice, but I don't have time," or you can say, "I practice every day, even a little." And the second sentence is not pressure, it is orientation. Say it calmly, without emotion. I'm a daily learner, and you do not need to believe it strongly, because identities grow from repetition, not from intensity. Here on English Simplified, we do not sell a dream of sounding native or perfect, we build presence, because what you really want is not to impress people, but to feel safe when you open your mouth. That safety comes from small proofs, one repeated sentence, one calm return, one moment where you show up without drama, and confidence appears after practice, not before it. Errors stop being humiliations, they become information, and English slowly becomes a melody you replay until your mouth remembers the rhythm. To understand why you stay consistent some weeks and disappear others, you need to see a simple cycle that guides almost all human behavior. There is a signal, then a desire, then an action, then a result. Your brain does not live in big plans or long promises. It lives in loops, and these loops already exist in your day. You wake up, your alarm rings, your hand reaches for your phone. That is the signal. The desire is connection or stimulation. The action is scrolling, and the result is a small feeling of novelty. If you want English to take a place in your life, you do not fight this loop with guilt or shame. You replace one part of it. You keep the same signal, the same desire, but you choose a different action, and instead of scrolling, you play your English audio, for 2 minutes only, just to start. Say this softly, just 2 minutes, because your brain loves small doors, and small doors are easy to open. The goal is not to become strict or rigid, the goal is to make the good action easier than the bad one, and for that, you choose one clear signal that already exists in your day, after breakfast, after a shower, when you sit on your bed, and you avoid signals like "when I feel motivated," because motivation is unstable. You also limit choices, one audio, one door, because too many options exhaust the brain before action even begins. What you see every day quietly guides what you do, even when you are not aware of it. And this is why willpower alone is never enough to build a lasting habit. If your English notebook is closed, hidden in a drawer, or buried in a bag, your brain receives a clear message. This is not important right now. If your phone opens directly on social media, your brain follows the shortest and easiest path, not because you are weak, but because your brain is efficient. So instead of blaming yourself, you redesign your environment gently, not to control yourself, but to guide yourself. If you want English to exist in your life, you make it visible. You leave your notebook open on your desk. You place your headphones where your eyes will see them. You create one simple shortcut on your phone that opens your English audio immediately. Not 5 apps. Not 10 playlists. One door. When English is visible, it does not ask for motivation, because visibility becomes the reminder. There is also a powerful idea called chaining, which means you connect English to something you already do every day without thinking. After you brush your teeth, you listen to English. After you drink your coffee, you repeat one sentence. After you sit on your bed, you open your notebook. The old habit becomes the signal for the new one, and because the first habit already exists, the second one feels natural, not forced. You are not adding stress to your day, you are attaching English to the rhythm of your life. You can also create a small English corner, even if it is just a chair, a table, or a part of your room, because places carry meaning, and when you sit there, your brain understands, without words, that this is the moment to practice. You can even use a short opening sentence, always the same, like okay, let's practice, not as a motivation speech, but as a ritual, because rituals calm the brain and remove hesitation. Your brain repeats what it associates with pleasure, comfort, or relief, and avoids what it connects to pain, shame, or pressure. If English reminds you of school, exams, mistakes, or being judged, your brain will resist, even if you truly want to improve. So instead of pushing harder, you change the emotional color of English. You choose content that feels calm, human, and interesting to you. A voice that does not rush. A topic that does not bore you. A rhythm that allows you to breathe. You also surround the practice with small comforts, a cup of tea, a quiet walk, a soft light, because your brain learns faster when the body feels safe. After your practice, even if it was short, you give yourself a clear, gentle signal of success, something as simple as saying good job in your head, or drawing a small check mark on paper, because your brain remembers feelings more than facts. When English becomes a moment of calm instead of a moment of judgment, returning becomes easier. You also make progress visible by choosing a few useful phrases and staying with them for several days, until they feel familiar, because familiarity creates confidence, and confidence creates attraction. One of the biggest mistakes in learning is waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, or the perfect plan, because perfect conditions almost never arrive. Instead, you make the action so easy that resistance has no space to grow. Here is a simple 10-minute routine that fits real life, not ideal life. For the first 2 minutes, you listen to a short English audio without stopping, just to enter the rhythm and let the sounds flow. For the next 4 minutes, you listen again and quietly repeat, not fast, not loud, just clearly, letting your mouth get used to the movement. For the next 3 minutes, you focus on 3 simple phrases and repeat them slowly, as if you were speaking to a friend. For the last minute, you write one single sentence in your notebook, something like today I practiced, or a short sentence about your day. That is all. If 10 minutes feels too heavy one day, you use the emergency version. 2 minutes of listening, 1 sentence repeated once, and you stop, because the goal is not to do more, the goal is to not disappear. Starting is more important than finishing, and repetition is more important than intensity. Your brain needs to feel that an action is complete, successful, and worth repeating, otherwise it slowly lets it go. Big goals are inspiring, but they are far away, and the brain lives in the present moment, so you give it a small, immediate sense of completion. You check a box. You write done. You notice that you showed up, even briefly. There is also a protective rule that keeps habits alive over time. If you miss one day, you do not miss 2. Missing once is human. Missing twice creates a pattern of stopping. So when life interrupts you, you return the next day with the smallest version possible, not to punish yourself, but to protect the chain, because the chain is what carries you forward. Over time, these small satisfactions teach your brain that English is something you do, not something you fight. After some weeks of calm, regular contact, something subtle begins to change. The sounds feel less foreign. The phrases come back faster. You stop translating every word in your head. One day, you understand a sentence without effort. Another day, a phrase comes out naturally. These moments are quiet, but they are real, and they are the result of repetition, not talent. Your English does not grow loudly. It grows steadily. If there is one thing to remember from this episode, it is this. You do not need a big push to change your English. You need a small appointment with yourself that you can keep, even on difficult days. English Simplified is not about doing more. It is about returning calmly, again and again, because consistency builds identity, and identity builds confidence. Choose one audio. Choose one moment in your day. Keep it small. Keep it gentle. And if you come back tomorrow, even for 2 minutes, you are already moving forward. Thank you for being here, and remember, always, fluency equals comfort, not speed.